welcome to another video from the enterprise world. Today we have with us Toni Patillo, a powerhouse in real estate business and mindset. With over 24 years of industry experience, Toni has dedicated her career to transforming lives through compassionate leadership and strategic innovation. From guiding families through challenging real estate transactions to launching the Empowered Mindset program, she is redefining success with purpose and resilience. In today's conversation, we will dive into her inspiring journey, her approach to navigating complex real estate challenges, and her commitment to personal and professional growth. Join us as we uncover the story of the most iconic real estate expert to watch in 2025, Toni Patillo.
Hi,
Okay.
how are you? I don't
I'm
know if I
good.
can live up to all of that, huh?
No, definitely you've lived up to all that, and that's why we are here today. So,
Thank you.
as we know, I'm going to head towards the questions.
Okay,
We have a bunch of questions that we want to ask you today.
okay.
Okay, tell us, your journey into real estate is deeply influenced by your mother's legacy in civil rights and real estate. How has her story shaped your approach to industry and leadership?
That's a great question. And I say that because I did not grow up wanting to be in real estate. I didn't think I would even, uh, I just, that was not my
Right,
vision, if you would.
right.
But, you know, I was in the entertainment business. I was very, very instrumental with
Mm-hmm.
Motown, Dick Clark, and of course, my sister's a vocalist, a jazz vocalist. So I was working with her.
Right.
And then I decided that at one point I was going to buy a house. And the realtor who represented me, she stayed very close to me. And she actually kept saying to me, you would be amazing at real estate. And I thought, no, I don't want to be a realtor. I love what I do. Anyway, make a long story short,
Mm-hmm.
I ended up getting in real estate. And it wasn't until many years down the road that I remembered that my
Mm-hmm.
mother also
Mm-hmm.
was a real estate broker. And the reason for us relocating to Washington State from California
Mm-hmm.
was so that she could pursue her real estate career. But when we got there, and
Mm-hmm.
they discovered, of course, in those days we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have computers, and so when we arrived there in Washington and they saw that my mother was African American,
Mm-hmm.
suddenly the position was no longer available. So
Oh.
we had to pivot.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a little girl, I was probably five years old. Yeah, when we went to Washington. And my mom got deeply ingrained into the civil rights movement because in her mind and in my father, my entire family was like, what? What's going on here?
Right.
And so that that is how we ended up in Washington and getting into the civil rights thing. But it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't until later, and as I got into real estate, that I really realize, and even most currently realize, how my experience with my parents had a huge impact on how I am today. And
Right.
I wasn't excited about real estate, like I said, but when we got to a point where we were helping families get
Mm-hmm.
through crisis, I got into real estate in the early 2000s, and it was starting from scratch, doing all the cool things. And then we had a shift and we had a market dip. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people were in trouble, and a lot of agents were in trouble. A lot of homeowners were losing value. And I thought, I need to figure out how to help these people. I
Right.
needed to help myself at the time because I
Mm-hmm.
too was suffering from the challenged market. So,
Correct.
I discovered that I really loved helping people, and so that's how it has kind of pivoted to where I'm at today. Yeah.
That's amazing. Truly is amazing. Okay.
Mm.
You've successfully navigated multiple industries from entertainment to wellness and then to real estate. What key
Mhm.
lessons did you carry forward from those experiences, and what have contributed to your success today?
You know, I it's a good question because it took me some time to
Mhm,
really identify my purpose and
mhm,
what my calling was. Um, in the beginning, I wasn't quite sure. I was kind of scuffling around trying to figure out what
right.
where my passion was. And when I began to look back over the various industries, whether it was entertainment or in the health and wellness industry or real estate, all three of those industries had something very much in common for me. And that was that I was helping people get through certain circumstances. And that is what I discovered, that this is my calling. Then when I
Mhm,
think back to my parents, who were very instrumental in the community, and they built a cultural center, and they bought a school bus, and they went and picked up these children from the city that we lived in, and they would bring them out to they actually built a cultural center. And so during this time, they were very instrumental in
mhm,
community and empowerment. So I would say that the one thing that's been very consistent throughout these industries has
mhm.
been empowerment,
Right,
education. Education is key,
right,
and really being of service. Okay. It's
right.
really, we are here to be of service. And once you get it, then
Mhm.
you can lean into it, and then you love it. You either love it or you don't. And this is something I truly love.
Amazing, amazing. What should I say now? Okay. Okay. Real estate transactions often carry deep emotional weight, especially in cases of probate, trust, sales, or pre foreclosures. How do you
Hmm.
balance professionalism with compassion in these situations?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, first you have to realize that we are here to help. We are here to be of service, and we're here to support people in the best
Hmm.
way in which we can. Most of these scenarios are very emotional, and
Right.
they're very challenging times. So you have to be very careful not to get pulled into the emotion of
Hmm.
it. But at the same time, you have to have compassion for what they're dealing with. So I think the best rule of thumb is to listen. It's just be full of, just listen and let them voice what's going on with them and where their concerns are and what their pain is, and
Hmm.
just listen.
Right.
When you learn to listen, you will learn to hear things that they may not even realize they're saying to you.
True.
So it's very important when you're dealing with very emotionally charged transactions, whether it
Hmm.
be bankruptcy or divorce
Hmm.
or short sales or trust, and even with probate.
Hmm.
You're dealing with multiple types of scenarios.
Right.
Not every one transaction is going to be the same. You're going to
Right.
have a different deal every time. And that's the thing that's most exciting, is because there's never a dull moment. Okay.
Right.
Never a dull moment. So, yeah, I would say, I hope that answered your question, but, frankly, you just have to learn how to balance the compassion with the love and the
Right.
service,
Right.
and the professionalism, because you got to make sure we're licensed, and
Yeah.
we're licensed professionals, and so we have to protect our fiduciary, and we have to protect ourselves,
Mm.
and we just got to, it's a very serious position. So
Very well said. Yeah, right. Okay.
thank you.
You face significant personal challenges, including your health battles. How have these
Yeah.
experiences shaped your resilience and leadership philosophy?
Mm. Mm. You know, I never would have imagined,
Hmm.
going back 20 years ago, I never would have imagined that I would be dealing with any kind of a health challenge.
Mhm.
But something is to be said for those who, you know, I don't know how to describe it other than sometimes we don't take as good care of ourselves
Right.
during our youthful years,
Yeah.
and it will catch up to you if you
Mhm.
don't take care of yourself.
Right.
And sometimes, I mean, I was very fortunate that I did not have any health issues until I think it was when I turned 50. And then I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Now I have an elder sister who's no longer with us today, but she had MS and she got it at a very young age. So
Mhm.
young, they didn't even have the medications and the different treatments available to patients at that time. And so she was hit early on. My mother
Mhm.
was very instrumental with helping her to take care of her kids.
Mhm.
And ultimately, she became bedridden. And then, she ended up making her transition at, I believe she was 57. She was quite young.
Oh,
So I got diagnosed when I was in my 50s,
okay.
but of course, technology and medication has completely changed the game today.
Correct.
So I have had, on top of the MS, then I went through a lot of spinal challenges. Um, and it seemed like the spinal went from stenosis to severe stenosis to scoliosis. So I've had 4 spinal surgeries. Those are major surgeries over a 10-year span. And, you know, what I can say is this: mindset is everything.
Correct.
So you really have to go within and you have to connect with your inner self and you
Mhm.
have to connect with your maker. Okay. Your God, whatever it is, you have to have that connection. And then
Right.
you have to work on yourself. You work on yourself every day, not
Right.
once in a while, not once a month. No, every day. This is a commitment
True.
that in order for you to navigate through these challenges, you have to take care of mindset. Your mindset is what will get you through everything. Will get you through everything. So I'm a testament to this day. Um, I'm just a few years from 70. So I'm rocking and rolling and I still love what I do and I still love I have a passion for being of service and nothing is going to stop me. That's how I feel. Nothing is going to stop me. Now, am I human? Absolutely. Do I have
Yes.
bad days? Absolutely. Do I have moments where I'm like, I don't know if I can do this anymore? Yes, I have those moments. I am human too, but I do know that the biggest thing that has made a difference in my career, in my personal life, and my professional whole my health, it's mindset. It's all mindset. That's what led me to starting a
Right.
a coaching program around mindset. Yeah.
That's truly inspiring, I must say. It is.
Mhm.
It is inspiring. Yeah. And it is also a very good advice that you have to always take care of yourself, right? Never ignore your health. That is truly, truly inspiring. Right. All right. Let's moving on. With advancements in AI and technology, how do you see the role of real estate professionals evolving, and how has your AI certification enhanced your work?
You know, I will say this:
Hmm.
AI. This
Hmm.
reminds me of the days when we first started working with computers. We used to call it the superhighway. I don't know if I'm dating myself completely, but we called it the superhighway. And this is where everybody was learning and starting to get adjusted to this computer thing, right?
Hmm.
Now we don't we can't even function without our
True,
computers, right?
true,
From our phones to our laptops to the iPad to the tablets to this and that. This is just a normal way of being. This is here to stay, right?
true.
So is AI. AI is not going anywhere. And as a matter of fact, it's going to get sharper and smarter. And it can be, a lot of people fear AI because they fear that it's going to replace them. It's going to, there's all kinds of rhetoric
Correct.
that's spoken
Yeah.
about AI. But the
Mm-hmm.
truth is, I feel, this is my opinion, I have embraced AI. And I
Mm-hmm.
embrace it because it helps me to cut time down. It helps me to be more efficient. It helps me to be more articulate of what it is I want to do. Just this morning, I needed
Mm-hmm.
to prepare a document, and
Right.
I decided I was going to try something. I said, I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to ask Google to do this, right? And then I'm going to go to Chat GPT and I'm going to ask it the very same questions. It's just copied and pasted and dropped it in Chat GPT. Now, I know this is a very hot topic, Chat GPT, but the real
Mm.
key with AI is understanding how to direct the prompts.
Correct.
If you do not understand how to direct the prompts, you
Mm-hmm.
might end up with all kinds of answers and all kinds of
Correct.
feedback. But with embracing it and just learning it and knowing that it's not going anywhere. So I'd rather be ahead of it than
Mm-hmm.
behind it. And this
True.
is something that I say to my agents:
Mm-hmm.
embrace this. This will help you. This will
Right.
help you to be more efficient with your clients. And
Right.
so I was one of the first 42 agents to get a certification in AI. It was a 5 day boot camp. It was a 5 day, all day boot camp. Um, and it was amazing. It was just amazing to see. And so we have what we call an AI society. And I'll do
Right.
a little bit of a plug here, but AI Institute is who has taught me everything I know about this AI. And fortunately, this is not something that you can just take a class, a boot camp, and then jump out and expect that you're going to be able to function uh, at top level. This is
Right.
something just like with computers. They're
Mm-hmm.
constantly changing. They're constantly being updated. They're
Correct.
constantly, there's all these new apps. There's this, there's that. So you need to stay engaged with
Mm-hmm.
a mastermind
Right.
and or a collaboration group
Mm-hmm.
that you can meet with on a regular basis. You can get people's feedback of what they're experiencing. You can understand what's new and what's up and coming. The things that we started with in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of our certification course are
Mm-hmm.
completely obsolete practically today because
Right.
things are growing at such a rapid rate. So I think that it's critical. I don't know how you're going to be in real estate and be effective if you don't embrace AI. Now, there's a lot of people, particularly you start talking about baby boomers and maybe even seniors
Mm-hmm.
that are not as tech savvy. Okay.
Correct.
So one would say, okay, Toni, because I don't consider myself that tech savvy at all. I mean, I can navigate around. I can get an email done here and there, and I might be able to save a document. But the truth is, I'm not real as tech savvy as I used to be. It's like
Correct.
this is it's things are moving in such a way that it's like I can hardly keep up. But there is a secret.
Your Empowered Mindset initiative focuses on personal and professional growth. Why do you believe mindset is the cornerstone of success, and how does this program help individuals unlock their potential?
Well, as I said, mindset is everything. But
Right.
I also believe that it's very important for you to have a relationship. I have to be careful how I say this because I don't want people to take it in the wrong way. Okay.
Correct.
but I believe that it is critical for you to have a relationship with your maker, whoever that maker is. Okay. We come from different walks of life, different cultures, different countries, all these different things. But at the end of the day, you need to have a relationship with your maker. You need to have a relationship with your higher self. Okay. Because our head is out to get our behind.
Right.
I will say it again. Our head is out to get our behind, meaning we our head can go in places that are very dark,
Right.
and one thing leads to the next, and the next thing you know, you're depressed or you're negative, or your business isn't going as well, your personal life is not going well. Everything, it revolves around this mindset thing. So it's the cornerstone to everything. It's the cornerstone to your personal relationships. It's the cornerstone to your career. It's the cornerstone to, um, if you're married, it's a cornerstone to the marriage. You've
True.
got to practice um, working on your mind. Now, what was the second part of that question? You asked me.
Uh, so the second part of the question is, why do you believe mindset is the cornerstone of success, and how does this program help individuals unlock their potential?
Yes. Okay, so with this particular program, we have exercises. First of all, there's a process. So we don't start at the end, we start at the beginning and we gradually work our way through the program. And as you develop, then you grow. And then there are exercises that we do that will help you to develop and get better and get
Right.
better. And eventually it's like school. You don't start in high school. You start in grade school. You
Right.
start in elementary school, and then you move on from there to your various grades. Same thing with this program. We start at the beginning. And even if you know some things, it's okay. We're still going to start from the beginning, and we're going to take you through stages and phases of development
Mhm.
and of growth. So I would say, again, there are exercises that we do. For example, meditation. That's something,
Mhm.
there's various types of meditations.
Right.
There's sound meditation, working the sound current. There is also decreeing, there's affirmations, there's prayer,
Mhm.
there's all these various ways of tapping in. And when you develop a habit of tapping in, ultimately you're going to see the shift. You're going to see the shift in yourself and you're going to feel the difference. And the very day that you don't do anything is the day you're going to feel it the
Right.
most. You're going to be like, ugh, I didn't do my meditation today, and I can tell.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you know, yeah. So I really think that's the cornerstone of your success, and that it's all about consistency
Right.
and um, persistence. Consistent and persistent. So you just have to stay at it. You have to stay at it.
True. True. Very well said. Very well said. Okay.
Thank you.
Philanthropy is a big part of your life. How do your charitable efforts align with your work, and what
Mhm.
impact do you hope to make through these initiatives?
You know, you learn this, ideally, you learn this as you're going through life. You learn that really it's about giving back.
Right.
And it's about, it's not just about being of service. Yes, we are being of service, but we have got to give, you know,
Right.
we've got to give. And there's something very gratifying when you're able to pass the baton, or
Right.
whenever you're able to give something for no reason, with no attachment, with no expectation. It's just, I've learned throughout the years that this is a very important part of building wealth as well. It's a natural thing that happens. When you make, you give. When you make, you give. Now, giving doesn't always mean it's monetary. You can give of your time. You can give of your service. You can give of things,
Right.
whatever it is, there's various ways you can give.
Yeah.
So, uh, everybody has their own kind of idea of what that looks like. And so
Right.
I can't say that it's going to look the same for everybody. I know that I came from a family who was all about community. And my parents, while they didn't necessarily have a lot of monetary,
Right.
but they gave their time and they gave of their love and they gave of their things that they would study and that they would pass it on to the community. So it is very important for you to be engaged in your community, in all of your activities. Give back. If I can show other agents how they can better their lives, or if I can share something that I've been doing, it's just all about collaboration. Let's use
Right.
that term. It's a collaboration. And I consider collaborating with others a form of giving. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay. Looking ahead to 2025, you're expanded into the luxury real estate sector and launching the seven-figure global shift course.
Mhm.
What
Mhm.
inspired these new ventures and what can we expect from them?
Okay, so let's see. Let's see which one do I want to address first. The luxury estate sector, in my opinion, has everything to do with price point. Okay. Um, Luxury does not necessarily make you a better person. It
Right.
does not necessarily have anything to do with status, although you would think it relates to status. But really, in my opinion, and this is just me, and it could be for different meanings for different agents around the country.
Correct.
But here in Southern California, we are very, very, very blessed. It could be the curse and it could be the blessing. The
Mhm.
curse is that things are very expensive here.
Right.
And so practically you practically it's like you can't not be in the luxury industry by being in Southern California. I mean, all of our price points, even in the neighborhoods, there's the A, B, and C neighborhoods. Even in the B and C neighborhoods, our prices are such. I was looking at a triplex today for a family who's unfortunately their mother, who owns all this real estate, is in her transition, and she has a lot of real estate. And so her sons were talking to me about the various options that they have to do with
Mhm.
whether they sell or whether they keep.
Okay.
And I said, this has everything to do with the tenants. In
Right.
Southern California here, we have rent control. So they tend to really protect the tenants. So if you're in a rent controlled area, that means you can only go up on the rent so much per year.
Right.
And depending upon who you're dealing with, whether it's the investor, the property owner, or the tenant, you get different aspects as to whether or not it's. But I see properties in the C neighborhoods that are close to $1 million or $1 million or more. So that's a luxury. Okay. Um, so it made sense for me to create a luxury division because I'm in that space already.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been in this space for years, but I've never claimed it as a luxury division. But
Correct.
I thought, it makes sense in our city. And we're here in Southern California. There's no question we have some very beautiful properties. And then, but
Mm-hmm.
our prices dictate the
Right.
luxury sale. Okay.
Right.
Now, The next question you asked me about was a seven-figure global shift.
Correct.
This completely ties into what has transpired for me
Mm-hmm.
with dealing with the health challenges,
Mm-hmm.
dealing with the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
and now we're dealing with, all kinds of natural disasters, natural hazard disasters and things. And, you know, we've learned to work remotely.
Right.
And I found that I didn't have to go into the brick and mortar office to get my work done and to
Right.
service people and to be effective in my business. I could do it effectively with a global team.
Right.
And so in 2020, I actually made a shift from my other brokerage, which was more of the brick and mortar model. And I shifted for two reasons. Number one, because of my age, I was very conscious of the fact that I didn't want to. I was a broker of record, so I had responsibility of oversight of like 400 agents, 400 plus agents. And I knew that I did not want to be doing that forever. So
Right.
I thought, I got to think about how I'm going to make an exit strategy, how I'm going to shift, right? It's where
Mm-hmm.
the hence the word shift, right?
Right. Right.
So when I really took my own experience and I decided to work with my team to create a blueprint for
Mm-hmm.
other agents who are struggling to navigate through this market of being remote
Right.
and or dealing with any kind of you know whether it's pandemic, whether it's natural hazard disasters. More importantly, the brokers that I made my shift to is a first cloud-based brokerage ever,
Right.
and they're global, and we all are owners of the company. So I thought, this makes sense. I had an opportunity to go to a lot of different places. I'm a broker. I could have gone off by myself and just done my own thing, but I didn't want to be by myself. I don't. Nah,
Right.
that's no fun, right? So I thought, what else is out here? And sure enough, a couple of my colleagues that I've known for years
Mm-hmm.
made this shift over to the cloud-based brokerage.
Right.
And I thought, I need to pay attention to this
Right.
and see what's the deal. And as I looked into it closer, I said, this is a positive thing, and I can do this. So I did it. But while I did it, I also was building this team, this
Mm-hmm.
global team who work very closely with me on running all aspects of my business. And most of them are out of the country, out
Right.
of out of the United States, right? So it's been pretty amazing. And I thought, well, I can't be the only one who needs to embrace this global team concept because, like I said, the world in the way we've known it is changing
Right.
drastically. That includes the AI stuff. That includes all of the global thing, and it's
Yeah.
changing. The way we were accustomed to doing things in the past, those days are over.
Right.
We are now, we either need to embrace this, where we're
Mm-hmm.
headed, and learn more about it, or we're going to get left in the wind. Yeah, or we get left in the wind. So that's what inspired me to create the seven-figure shift. And, you know, I've decided to just put a bit of I want to make sure that it's right because all the elements need to be working in a certain way so that you can best take advantage of the resources because you've
Right.
got to have resources and you've got to have vetted resources. It can't just be anybody that you're referring somebody to. You've got to have vetted resources, people who have been tested and
Yeah.
who have proven themselves and they have a history And so that there needs to be a machine that puts this together if we're going to be launching it for agents nationwide, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now this is our last question, and with that we
Okay.
end our interview. Okay. What advice would you give to aspiring real estate professionals looking to build a sustainable and impactful career in today's evolving market?
Oh, you have some great questions, actually. These, one of the things that I would say for aspiring real estate professionals, there's a few things I would say. Number one,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you must have clarity. You must have clarity about what you want. You must get clear about what you want and why.
Right.
Do not worry about the how.
Right.
When you are clear about what you want and
Mm-hmm.
why, the universe will put organize for you. The universe will organize it all for you. But you have to believe.
Right.
You have to believe. This is where the mindset thing is really critical. So clarity and really stay close to your passion. Be true to your passion. Do you know how many people don't know what they want? There's
Right.
so many people that really don't know that. Well, I want to make more money. I want to provide for my family, but you have to get laser specific.
Right.
I mean, laser specific. And so once you have that clarity
Mm-hmm.
and you understand your purpose,
Mm-hmm.
again, I would also step back as a real estate professional and I would question, what is my purpose? Why am I here?
Yeah.
And this is when I became very clear about I am here to continue my parents' legacy. This is where this started. That's where my thing started. I didn't realize it until I've gotten to be, you know, of age to where I'm starting to get these all these things are starting to make sense. But the truth is, yes, it's to continue my parents' legacy. But that comes with clarity, and
Mm-hmm.
that comes with your vision, obviously,
Yeah.
and you must continue to work on your mindset. I, I keep hammering that home, but that's what you got to do. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Okay. With this, we end our interview. Thank you, Toni Patillo, for sharing your inspiring journey of resilience, purpose, and impact in real estate and beyond. Your insights on mindset, relationship, and service remind us that true success is about making a difference. Stay tuned for more empowering stories and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.